Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being here, whether you watch this program live or you watch it later on the rerun. Just want to take a moment to show you my appreciation. Please do like and share this and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified of any and all other events or guests, wonderful guests like the one that we have tonight that may show up. You never know what I have in store in the future. So today we have beautiful HaRuKo. Uh, HaRuKo Blue Star Child, right? That's what you like to be called as. So
Yes, that's my
thank
artist
you.
musician's name.
Right.
Yeah, thank you for
So
having me in the Dragon's Den. I was I love the name, and well, in honor of this name, I have a dragon behind me as well today.
perfect. I love it. I love it. I've always worked with dragons, so it fit the name. Everybody looks at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "It just fits." Um, so tell us about yourself. Let the audience get to know you.
Sure.
Um,
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm just so happy and honored to be here, Glenda.
I'm
And
honored to have you, really.
yeah, I'm excited because I've known her since I don't remember, maybe several years ago on different platform. And
Right.
so yes, I was happy to be invited. And so yeah, thank you, and thank you
Mhm.
for listening to this beautiful podcast.
Thank you. So, tell us a little bit about your growing up and when uh, you started becoming really spiritual, your awakening moments. How did that evolve?
Yeah, so I am from Japan. I was born in Tokyo, and I was there until high school, just doing regular, school, just, very hard actually in Tokyo. And my school was Catholic school, the private
Mhm.
only girls Catholic school. So it
Oh,
was hardcore. And the commute to the school was like an hour and a half in the most crowded trains and buses every day. Yeah, it was really, really tough. And I don't know how I survived. So, well, mm, to I've been always, being spiritual is nothing really special,
right.
I don't have the epiphany of like, oh, I became so spiritual or awakened, It's just more like a gradual remembrance in a way. And
Hmm.
but the reason why I came to America is when I was in junior high, um, I was we were watching the movie, the Western movie, and there's the Native American, of course, in
Hmm.
the movie, and I was just nailed to the screen. I'm like, I know those people in the junior high. I know those people, and I have to go to the continent. It was like a huge determination,
Right.
And so my parents are so strict, and but they allow me for the educational purpose for any opportunities. So I take advantage of that. I took advantage of that, and I asked, I like to go to America for the homestay program for 1 month, and you get to experience the American family.
Hmm.
So that happened in the freshman year of the high school in the summertime. And I remember it's one of those planes that, the platform lands on the ground and you just, step down to the ground.
Hmm.
Remember the first step I landed on this continent, my whole body said, this is the place for me.
Mm. Ooh, I got chills. I got chills.
Yeah. So then my determination is like, okay, I really have to go to the continent somehow, some way. And but the traditionally, if you go to high school, you have to go to the college, then go to go to work and then get
Hmm.
married. That's like really traditional, way. And of course my parents were expecting that, right? So how can I get this out of get myself out of this structure, you know. So I purposely didn't study. I flunked, I decided to flunk the test to go to university because I just didn't want to get caught in the trap. And on the other side, I was planning to apply to the college in America.
Okay.
And somehow I scored more for the college. And also my English was pretty good because whatever I feel passion for, I work for it, right? The rest
Right.
of them is like, forget it. My passion was just the music, art, and English. And I learned to speak English because I learned from the music. So, back then it was 80s, when I was in high school. So
Right.
Donna, the Stevie Wonder, all the 80s.
Right.
And I purchased the CD, that was the cassette before, right?
Right. Cassette. Yes, I remember that.
In the cassette, there's this like paper which has this like small lyrics on
Right.
paper, and I was just trying to sing along because it's just so cool to sing. It was
Mhm.
just something that I wanted to do. And so my pronunciation of English was much better than those people who's studying in school, which they only learn grammar and writing. So they
Right.
have no skill of listening and speaking. But with me, with my world, I was just learning from this Madonna CDs, tapes and all of that. And so anyway, I flunked all the tests to the university and I faced to my parents, I really want to go to college in America. And of course they said no, you know.
Mhm.
And we had arguments. I didn't even speak to them for about 3 months. And but I had a strong backup. My grandmother
Okay.
was powerful. I'm so glad that I had her as a maternal power,
Right.
which is very rare to see in Japan. Man
Mm.
rules the world. Man rules the family. There's no woman to say
Right.
anything. Really, we have to walk behind woman. That's kind of like that.
Right. Mm.
Tradition. It's different now, but back then still we were dragging the old tradition. But my
Mhm.
grandma was not that. She was really powerful, and
Good.
she had a financial strength as well. And she said, "I'm gonna back her up financially and let her have what she wants
Ooh. You were
because she
blessed.
the one wanted to have that dream, but she got married
Right.
and she had to go through the war and feed the family, work hard, and so she saw the dream in me, and now she lived our dream together. So
Mhm.
how kind of came out to to America to discover who I am, being away from the traditional matrix, and
Mhm.
put my feet on the ground to really start to feel my freedom, away from all the expectation.
Yes.
The
Yes.
spiritual path, we all are going
Right.
in this path of, who are we away from all the expectations and obligations and structures and
Mm.
that. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, that's my path so far. And
Well, it's funny because I grew up in a very traditional family too. I also went to an all-girls Catholic high school
mhm,
here in the United States, but it was still all-girls Catholic high school.
yeah.
And I had a scholarship to Seton Hall University. No, Princeton University full ride. And my father said no because his daughter was not going to live away from the house
Hmm.
without getting married in a
Hmm.
college.
Hmm.
So I had to settle for Seton Hall University, which I could travel to. So
Hmm.
I understand the whole dynamic. It's very hard. People don't get it.
Hmm.
Um, because now you should say, I want to do this, and people just go and do it.
Yeah.
And back then,
Back then, yeah.
mm,
Hmm.
you had to have somebody really strong behind you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so what did you end up studying here?
Well, I studied advertising because I was still brainwashed by my father. You have to still, work as
Right.
a businesswoman. So, that was the option because the rest was so boring. But advertising, a little bit of the art, creativity in there. But
Right.
actually, it was just boring. It was all about lying to trick people to make you buy things, and all the psychology that they use in the wrong way. I'm like, this is so far. I'm sorry, messed up.
No, it's okay. I don't the places that this goes to, don't worry.
Yeah. So, but anyway, with having the question, but still, I went through it and
Hmm.
graduated, and I went back to Japan, and I worked because I
Right.
got accepted by the company.
Right.
Um, and I tried to work, and of course, it doesn't work for me because it's how can I work in that structure that I actually went into another traditional company that like woman is nobody,
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
smile and be pretty and you're okay, and I was none of that. So I was always like being pointed finger, like, what is this girl doing? She's not even smiling. And then somebody called me like I was not wearing the heel thing, that
Right.
this thing that my feet hurt so much. One time I was standing on the floor. It was like kind of like salesperson. Start from the beginning, and I was
Right.
walking barefoot because it was hurting so much. And it's just torture. I just can't do this anymore. And but I
Mm-mm.
tried to bear with it for not a year and a half. I just don't know, why I lasted that long.
You were strong. You lasted that long.
Yeah.
Oh.
So so many ways that I had. I was in trouble in the company, and all the thing I did was wrong. And but anyway, I had to quit, of course. And during that time, only way that I could survive was I was studying photography on my own. I had a
Okay.
basic, so I rented the black room, dark room,
Okay.
and processed all my pictures. I did all my creative things in there, and created the portfolio and applied to the one of the art school in America, and then I got accepted.
Mhm.
So simultaneously that was happening, and then I quit.
Mhm.
And so I decided to come back to America, and yeah, from there it's just more like finding myself through art.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Now, you get inspired a lot of the times, and especially in the very beginning, by moons and um, rabbits and stuff like that. Now, what inspires you now, and how did that progress?
Right. So, well, to start with the rabbit things, yeah, yeah. So I wrote on the bio, right?
Hmm.
So in Japan, the folk tale is that the rabbit lives on the moon and making the rice cakes. And from, at the beginning of the time when I was starting to draw, well, first of all, I was photographer, and I studied photography in the university, graduated, and then I entered to the master's degree of the art,
Hmm.
and I was in the photography department, and I got kicked out because I was doing so many weird things that didn't belong to this square. Because everything was out of focus, composition was messy, just doesn't make any sense. And so there's this department called New Genre Department
Hmm.
in the master's degree department, which is the savior because all the people who couldn't fit into the square box go there. And so there's this weird people, and some people like running naked all over in San Francisco. That was in San Francisco. And
Okay.
video, and then you need to really make a point. If if you don't make a point, you don't succeed.
Right.
So and so from there, in that freedom, that nobody taught me how to discover myself, and none of the techniques they teach me, they taught me, you have to all figure it out in that
Hmm.
department, which was really great for me, and so gave me the freedom to do whatever I want. And and so I got into the making toys.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just wanted to make toys, which is very philosophical and
Hmm.
spiritual in a way. So there's one time I was making rabbit and bear, and there's this clanking thing, that mechanics things. It's really huge actually, and the rabbit one has the spirit in it. It has like a spirit.
Okay.
The bear doesn't have a spirit. So once you clank like this, the rabbit moves, but bear doesn't move. It's just
Mhm.
like silly, silly toy. How much money and time you put into this making toy, and my parents would be like crying, like, oh, she's going to the master's degree art program and making this rabbit and bear toys. That doesn't make sense. One of them doesn't move. And then another one was like the mirror box, and there's this the rabbit is in the mirror box, and if you look within, there's this infinite world of rabbit after rabbit after rabbit. And I just wanted to express that there's this infinite world within and without.
Mhm.
So but then the toy making was just really, really taking time and money, so I just got into evolved into the drawing.
Right.
So that's how went into this like drawing flow of connecting with different world and dimensions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so going back to the rabbit, so
Mhm.
that I see, I used to draw a lot of rabbit, and rabbit is a connector, the bridge between the dimensions. Like Alice in the Wonderland, right?
Mhm.
To different world and dimensions, yeah. And
Mhm. I'm
so
I'm picturing now the. I'm sorry. I'm just picturing the rabbit and the when you're looking the full rabbit after rabbit after rabbit. I'm I'm very visual, so when somebody gives me a description that's so detailed like that, I see it right away, and it's like, wow, that is pretty neat, actually.
yeah, it is, and it was so much fun, and for some reason it was feeding my soul. Like you go to work, you party, I mean all kinds
Right.
of things, but then nothing was
Right.
fulfilling me. And when I was drawing, I could feel the
Mm-hmm.
fulfillment, and I didn't know what it was. It's the connection with with our
Right.
spirit
Right. Exactly.
and all the dimension that we live in. And I didn't know why, but I just kept on doing it. And now that I know that I have been connecting with different world and dimensions, but back then I thought it was just my
Mm-hmm.
imagination,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then back then there's no words like
No.
channeling.
Nope. Back then there was no words like that. Nope.
Right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it
That's how I have evolved into this, state of,
yeah,
being drawing different
it's
things.
beautiful how spirit actually let you to certain things because it let you first to see that movie, to be able to come over here because you used the excuse to education, whatever. And as soon as you landed, you knew that this is where you wanted to be. This is where you needed to be. Um, and it gave you, right or wrong, it gave you the ways to get to where you needed to be, not only before in middle school, but also after high school and all that. It actually paved the way for you to get to where you are now. In those times we were always just saying, oh, okay, that door closes. Okay, that's not how it's going to work. We're just trying this one. But now we come to the awareness that if we ask, we're led. If we accept, we're led to the right opportunities. And they just open
Yeah.
the doors slowly, even if it takes a little work from us. But that's just to show them that yes, we do want this. Yes, we do want to go in that route. We do want to go in that journey. So
Mhm.
now you're talking about that you're connecting with other dimensions and other beings and all that. And how does that influence your drawings now?
Well, it's almost like a step by step, you
Okay.
know, because I didn't know anything about angels. I didn't know anything about fairies or dragons or ascended masters, even the ETs, all of
Hmm.
that. And so as I draw them, it's like, so how I draw is come from the
Right.
feeling inside of me. So even though it's channeling, but also I see myself as more like everything is inside
Hmm.
of us,
Hmm.
right? Verses are all inside of us. All our wisdoms are all inside of us. Once you allow yourself to tap in. And I've been, since I started to draw rabbit, it's been 26 years. That's a really long
Yes.
time. And
Yes.
And it's not that I was drawing all the time either. There was some time of the years or life that you are learning
Hmm.
different things. You're focusing on different things. But each time I draw, I learn different things. Even something that I drew 20 years ago, I still learn from it. I still get activations because now that I'm learning, these are living codes.
Hmm.
It's a frequency that is in there, and we are the frequency, the energy. So we are always constantly communicating and activating, and they are growing as well as I am growing. And so, and then I hear some other people's channeling, for example, or read some kind of books about, like, for example, Mary
Hmm.
Magdalene, or
Right.
and can feel that energetic signature of that,
Mm.
the was the star system or ascended masters individually, and then when I look at my artwork, I can feel that similarity. And yeah, oh yeah, this one is actually what I drew is actually matching up with this book, for
Hmm.
example. And so there's always the confirmation comes in the right timing, I'm
Hmm.
sure. And so so that's how I learned. They're like my textbook.
Well, you're drawing, you're putting it on paper, you're creating them into manifestation on paper, so or on canvas, so others can also receive that remembrance code, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
what you're doing is, yes, you're learning, but in a way, you're just opening up that what you already knew into
Hmm.
this lifetime. So,
Right.
um, now, have you drawn anything that would resemble like a past lifetime to you, or a lifetime in another dimension?
I think there are all overlapping,
Yes.
the past as well as future, because I sometimes feel like most of the time, especially in the back, more like 10 years ago, I felt more future. Like I'm drawing
Mm-hmm.
future, I feel the future. And also the future is overlapped with the past wisdom from the past, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Without that, there's no future.
Yes.
So it's like I'm not drawing just the past or future. It's like all the mixture of it. It's a soup of the past, future
Yeah.
into the now moment.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now those are some of the drawings in the back, right?
Hmm.
They're just wonderful. It's the energy is coming through. And I know that the audience is going to feel the energy coming through. Now, um, you have an art gallery
Hmm.
based in Mount Shasta,
Yeah.
correct? Yes, that's
Right.
that's wonderful. I'm sure you get a lot of inspiration from Mount Shasta. The area is full of energy there. So,
Right, yes. Well, I started to draw a lot of the earlier body work, which I call it New Earth Blueprint.
hmm
Very, very foundational, important wisdom. But that was back in San Francisco when I didn't know anything about anything. And I moved to Mount Shasta in 2004. That was, after I started to draw, which was 1999. So 5 years later, I started to draw,
hmm
and I was introduced to the Mount Shasta. I'm sure everything is all divine timing.
right,
And as soon as I arrived, I knew, one of those like I knew moment. Okay,
right.
this is the place I need to move, but I don't know why. But I know the deep soul calling is that I wanted to live in a different way. I wanted to, I don't know how that would look like, but I wanted to live in a different way. I wanted to be more focusing on myself. I don't know how that looked like, but something that I felt. So people say, "Oh, coming to Mount Shasta, that's why you're spiritual, and then you're doing this drawing." No, actually, for me, coming to Mount Shasta is really about go deep inside,
hmm
do the deep inner work. And so, I can recall like especially the beginning of the 10 years, it's like being in a divine laundromat.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And how ignorant I was, how arrogant I was, how everything, just like washed, and still I am going through. It's like
Mhm.
a forever thing. But back then I was like, what is this? Because I didn't know anything about inner work or you know
Mhm.
work, or none of that language were not really common back
Right.
then.
Right.
you know so yeah, so that's what I went through. So it's not really about being in sacred place and doing this high dimensional, work. It's
Right.
not really that. And yes, I chose this place to really discover myself, but it's really a place, a sacred place is really to mm, honor the process of mm, discovering ourselves,
Mhm.
honoring the land, and honoring who you are, and I mean, and then honoring just coming back to the nature that we are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Remembering again who you truly are. And
Mm-hmm.
right now we're in this lifetime that is very important because there are so many people awakening, but some of us are just remembering who we really are. Not so much awakening. We were born with the information already inside.
Mm-hmm.
We still remember, but it's just something to trigger us to say yes. Yes, like when you stepped into Manchester area, you said, yes, this is the place that I need to be in. It's just the knowing that they're directing you there so you can develop your your true self
Mm-hmm.
further to remember who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I see that you do a lot of light language in the drawings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And a lot of people don't really see it as that. They should see it as, but that's what's giving, those symbols are what's giving the energy to come
Mm-hmm.
out of those drawings.
Yeah.
So, now, were you just like closed eyes and started drawing those, or was it in layer and layer and layer, or did you see it in a dream, for example, and they
Mm.
showed you this is what you have to incorporate?
Yeah, my way, my way is a very playful way, and
Mhm.
I have to be well spaced out, which I'm really good at. I think out, I learned from this boring Catholic school because I had to be spaced out in order to survive the daily activities. It's really I make fun of that, that school time. They trained me a spaced out person. Anyway, so being empty, and just look at the sketchbook and start drawing. And it's like a child, kindergarten kids, they do doodling, and I call
Mhm.
it doodling really. It's a cosmic doodling. And if I am, people ask me like, I'm getting this light language and I want to draw, how can you draw like you? And for me, I'm not even intending to draw the light language.
Mhm.
I'm just doodling. Even
Right.
at this stage, if I go into this head state, or
Mhm.
more like a spiritual ego state, like I'm doing this light calls,
Right.
it doesn't flow. So I always have to put myself into this elemental, state of being, which is being spaced out and be curious, be
Mhm.
playful, and
Mhm.
like a child. And whatever that you do doesn't matter really. I am not here to impress other people or activate other people. Once that thing comes to the forefront, then creativity stop for me. And
Mhm.
the thing that I always tell to people these days, just they're just waking up, or all of a sudden started to speak right language,
Mhm.
and and what should I do? I see all this vision and blah blah blah, and like, well, you have to get back to yourself.
Mhm.
hmm those
Yeah.
are just the decorations. Those are just comes later on, no matter what, anyways. But without knowing who you really are and knowing your own center, and
Mhm.
then you can't really connect to the different world and dimensions, or even to express it, properly.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I say, but for some people, it's very difficult. They want to do these
Mhm.
great things. And that's,
They want to be at the top like this. It's too
yeah,
fast. Just take it a step back and go
yeah,
there
go to
slowly.
the class and get certified, and then you just like
Right.
there, like, no, no, no. You really have to go deep within and
Right.
really connect with you, and really the channeling or drawing like this or speaking light language, it just comes from your true knowingness.
Mhm.
Temporarily they can do that, but it will probably put into the hold, like
Right.
stop.
Right.
And you always have to go back into yourself.
Mhm.
So yes, I do this light language thing. That's what people call it, light calls and all of that. And I know that these activate people. And
Mhm.
I can say this because I've been, holding this gallery, which I was not even intending to hold the gallery. But people just ask me, "Where's your artwork? Where's your artwork?" And so I heard a calling from the spirit.
Right. Right.
Okay, I'm supposed to have the store. And so well, I have this store. This is the final location so far, that it's very large, and I can put all my artwork on the wall, and I can see people coming with this energetic field, and they go into my secret rooms, for example, and meditate for about 10-15 minutes, and come back to my front room, and I can see the energetic shift
Mhm.
them, and just get harmonized or comforted in all kinds of level of activation and healing in emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical happens in the room. And and so just by witnessing years and years of that, and I said, okay, this is really doing something for others, because it does for me. And this is my own sanctuary and my own spiritual oasis that I share to myself, but I share to others. And
Mhm.
whoever wish to really honor this sacred place and to receive the light calls. And that's when I can, invite people. And it's such a joy to be able to share this space with others, and talk about similar things that we go through. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, like it's really interesting how the one right next to the dragon
Mhm.
is more healing codes. Yeah, that's more healing codes.
Mhm.
And the way I feel them.
Yeah.
Like it's the center, the eye. I feel like it goes straight to the heart and then goes up, goes down, and it's just more of finding what your body needs, your higher self requires in healing and grabbing it. Where the other one is more of activation codes, the other side, where it activates your remembrance and who you're meant to be and where, like a plan as to where you need to go.
Mhm.
And that's the way I feel it. I mean, I'm sure everybody feels it different, but it's so amazing how each one of them, to me, that I've seen from you, even the other ones that you have shown before, have such meaning and such direct intention.
Mhm.
You know, it's amazing because you're actually able to bring it down and see it on the paper and draw it on the paper, which even if it takes you layers and layers and be spaced out, whatever it is,
Mhm.
but you're actually allowing your body, your physical self, to this vessel bring it out for humanity to see and share. It's wonderful.
Mm.
um
Thank you.
Now, I know that a lot of people always say, okay, they dream about something and then they're able to put it down on paper. Is
Mhm.
that how that works for you? Or you just, like, I know you said that you're starting to just doodle and
Mhm.
then you just keep adding to it, but do
Yeah.
you ever dream of, say, of a flower and that's what you need to put all around?
Right. Yeah. So, I feel that everybody has their own unique way to
Mhm.
receive the inspiration from the source. And so, some people see in a dream, some people see in a meditation, some people really see it,
Mhm.
clear it's open. Me, I don't have clairvoyance and audience. I am clairsentient.
Right,
So far,
right.
and so what I feel, I express. But when I am like really doodling on a simple sketchbook, I
Mhm.
just let things flow out of curiosity, out of sometimes boredom, because the life is boring, just like, so this is boring. I'm just gonna doodle, that kind of
Mhm.
moment. But then
Right.
that's when you connect with different world and dimension. It's like, well, you can't let HaRuKo get bored. No, I don't think they say that, but just like,
I'm sure that they're saying, what can we give her to keep her occupied so she doesn't get in trouble?
yeah, but it's pretty simple. It's just like, oh, I want to eat this, then you do
Mhm.
this, it's kind of
Right.
like that sometimes. Or sometimes I'm bored and I do things. Either way, I just try to allow myself to bring the creative flow as much as I can, uh,
Mhm.
and let that flow creates something or not something.
Right.
And so I'm a feeler, but when I create the large ones, I don't have the large ones here in the back, but here is another,
Right. Yeah,
you
look
know
at that. Yeah.
semi large one.
Mhm.
And when I want to do that, I feel the impulse, like, fountains started to come out. and
Right.
um, and that's when I start to look at different sketches that I have done in the past, and I kind of know which one wants to come together. And
Sure.
then bringing all of that together and feel the compositions of the energetic form,
Mhm.
large scale with my body, and feel the lines. And so I kind of place the designs and just follow the feeling, and sometimes I have to walk away, and because I won't feel it anymore. So, but I leave it on the floor, for example, for a while in my house. And
Mhm.
when I wake up, I kind of like look, and if I don't get anything, then just forget about that and do different things. And so it's a process. And sometimes, when you bring in this beautiful wisdom, you also have to release a lot of things too, or learn so many things before you can bring that information. I feel that kind of process happens during that time of drawing. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't really force to finish it or force the line. And also, I'd like to make it as organic as it can be. So I
Right.
don't use the rulers, I don't use compass. I just kind of like eye measure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these days, I can kind of match up the edge because it's possible to do that. But I
Right.
try to be so perfect because the energy, the frequency is always shifting, moving, and within that we communicate and activate each other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I really like to use my body and the honest momentum,
Mm.
to bring the line onto the drawing. And so yeah, that's how I do. If I explain that well or not.
No, you definitely did. That's beautiful because that's more authentic. That's really authentic. That you go into it, you start envisioning what you want, the elements that you want first, and then you just continue and continue. That to me means that your drawings are more authentic and they will bring more activation or more energy um, onto the paper.
Mhm,
Really, because you're using the paper as the medium to get that energy to the people.
mhm,
And where some people, for example, they go to the shore and they get all activated there because of the waves and all that. Everybody has different ways.
mhm,
That's Earth's way of activating us in a way.
mhm,
Or if we go into a forest or any place like that where not like a city, no, but if you go into places where you have more nature and all that,
mhm,
that's Earth's way of activating things in us
mhm. The
and
song of
bring
the bird.
right, right,
Mhm.
bringing us back to center and to balance.
Yeah.
And your drawing does that to me,
Mhm.
and that's why I'm so grateful you accepted to come because it is such an honor to have somebody who's really genuine, who brings the truth into it. You're not just there copying. You're there really bringing the energy with you and
Yeah.
letting it flow through you. So you're becoming the conduit. For
Mhm.
example, when I do Reiki,
Mhm.
I tell people it's not me. I'm just allowing the universe to bring the energy through me and I send it to you. But what I
Mhm.
do is I send it to you concentrated. That's all.
Mhm.
So it's the exact same thing, just you using paper or canvas.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we are all channel in our own unique way.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Now, how different was it for you to do the dragon versus the
Oh,
one right next to it? Now I'm
yeah.
curious.
So line drawing is my forte,
Right, right.
but I needed to challenge my creative expansion, right? So
Right.
the dragons. Actually, I don't try to draw or paint dragons. I do background first, like
Uh-huh.
whatever background, and I
Mm.
leave it for a little while because I don't know what else to do. So I
Right.
like to follow the feeling of creating the background colors. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like flowy, rainbowy things that happened accidentally. Really, I allowed accident as well.
Right.
Mhm.
It's art. It's art. It's beautiful. It,
Yeah.
so,
So then I leave it. Sometimes I leave it like a month or a couple months, really, and sitting there forever. And then I started to feel something.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like I feel the happy dragon in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just started to feel, and it's really challenging for me because drawing I can erase, but painting
Right.
hard. So it kind of like takes a long time to start it. Actually, I
Mhm.
postponed a lot and but
You
yeah,
know,
finally.
beautiful, beautiful. It
So
does bring their energy out too.
mhm. About to cleanse
Excuse
and I
me.
put crystals. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful. It's wonderful. And you could feel the energy too. So I
Yeah.
mean, even though you challenged yourself and you did something a little different,
Hmm.
the energy is still coming through.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely this one was the happy one. And there's so many different way that I experiment on paintings. It's a different medium to bring, but the colors, the flows, that's
Mm-hmm.
something I cannot express with lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can put some crystal on it and things like that. So yeah, it's a different medium that I am exploring.
Good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Mm.
So what do you see happening, if anything, in the future, or do you just go with the flow?
In my life, in my
Hmm.
art,
Yes.
um, just evolving. So what I started to draw in the beginning, the large ones, in the beginning I didn't know what I was drawing, and now I know the first series was the New Earth blueprint, and which is very very foundation of our spiritual wisdom. And then second one was more like simultaneously sort of happening was the divine feminine wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to share some of them, but and then right now I'm working on the ancient series.
Ancient series. Okay. Okay.
And so it's funny because back then when I was drawing, I didn't know that I was kind of going to see the series. That happened years later. Sometimes
Mm.
in the beginning time, I didn't even know what it was about. To now that I am learning about myself more and more, and learning about different masters, or all the history of the earth and things like that. And now I see the titles more faster when I'm drawing.
Mm-hmm.
So this one like very 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 important first. uh,
Oh, nice. Nice.
so it's 80 inches tall, so it's really big one. This is the poster, and but this is one of the first foundational important piece that I did year 2000,
Wow.
and it's called
Wow.
New Heaven on Earth, the title, but also it's a Christ consciousness. And so if you see these like circles,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's upside down. Hold on. Anyway, there's no up and down.
Right.
So anyway, there's these circles. So what I understood, there's so many way to, you know,
Look
under,
at things. Yes.
one way is that this is the human aspect, and all these aspects, you recognize it, and gain wisdom from it, see the value of it, see everything as a divine, and be able to embrace and understand in the heart. This is the heart in your
Mm-hmm.
heart. And then also there's this divine aspect that we have so many divine aspects and wisdom that we learned from all the you
Mm.
know dimensions and lives and whatsoever, whatever that there
Right.
there was or there are, and combine them in the heart center and just embracing it all. It's like a Christ teaching. It's like, love everything, like love everything.
Mm-hmm.
What is love everything? Love your neighbors. What is really loving the neighbors? It's really really deep. You can say love your neighbors, yeah, but there's so much there in that
Right.
one teaching. And so this is his teaching. That's what I feel, as well as
Mm-hmm.
we have that uh, remembrance, the wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are all Christed beings. We are being of light and the creator, the son and child, daughter of the creations. So, so this is one of the foundational, important, new
Beautiful.
blueprints. One of them.
Beautiful.
And I like to share, and if we have time, I don't know, I'm
Yes. Yes.
talking so good at
Keep going.
in the space. So, but I like to share one of the divine feminine codes, which is this one.
Mm, yes.
And this is more like a Mother Mary kind of feeling for me.
It,
Maybe I
it,
went to Catholic.
it is for me too. Maybe because we did both go to Catholic schools.
Yeah, and I do have different things, but
Right.
the things that I like to share today in a short time is this, and this is the mother aspect.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like apple too, in a way, but it's and this part is the child.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are allowed to do anything we want. All the mistakes we want to live, we want to experience. And all the good things, all the bad things, everything, good and bad, we just name it that way. But from her perspective, everything is unconditionally accepted, no name that's a bad and good. It's all about learning and growing and gaining wisdom from it, and then she can embrace every layer of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of it, a dimension of it.
I love it. I love it.
And, and that's what
And
we can do too. This is another blueprint that we all have, you know, and if we can do that to ourselves, that's
mm-hmm.
the level of being in love, being the present of life, the
Yes.
and so that's the divine feminine
Mm,
uh,
beautiful.
cause. And then so well, I'll show you I have it here. So the ancient cause, that's really way advanced for me right now. A month ago, and but the feeling is that since we are remembering
Mm-hmm.
more and more, and at the same time all the wisdom that had been seeded not only within our light but also on the planet earth, on the land, are also being activated, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the same, we are all doing
Yes.
this together. So what I feel is that ancient wisdom that we were not ready for in the back then is
Right.
getting ready for us to remember within and without. So that's the expression, and there's a lot in here. So,
Ooh,
mhm,
ooh, I got chills right away.
large
Yes.
piece. So
Beautiful.
it's really hard to see in a small way, but I'm sure you can feel in the
Oh,
frequency.
I could feel it. I could feel it. Yes. No, definitely. It's, like I said, I got chills right away.
Yeah, and then so I don't know how I will be in the future. I'll just follow my impulse within the joy and mm, yeah, curiosity to what is within me
Mm-hmm.
that wants to express. But at the same time, more and more, my life is becoming simple. Like these things is more like extra to me. Um, my well-being in every moment, you know, is the most important way
Mm-hmm.
of life.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I express myself in genuine, authentic way in every moment? It's more like my focus than what I do actually, you
Right.
know. And so I feel like right now many of us are really being asked to go more and more intimate within ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and simplifying our life because there's so much distraction, not only in the political or environmental, but also in the spiritual community too, that there are a lot of confusion. And
Yes.
yeah, and you know, I don't point a finger to people. They just are what they are doing, and but really, they showed me how I want to be in a simple way,
Mm-hmm.
and all the information that they're trying to expose, it's not that important really, because we will know that later on,
Mm-hmm.
and more of what is really important, it's really to know ourselves. There's so much in there, so much mystery, and so much to love and cherish,
Yes.
and also, just to embrace. There's so much that we still haven't embraced, and nothing that we did anything wrong, but this deeper forgiveness, in a way that, oh, there's so much to really witness, the precious experience and aspects that we haven't brought home.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's sort of my near future kind of doing for me. That's really my focus.
I'm very impressed and honored to know someone who has decided to really find who she is and go with it, no matter when it was. Like, maybe what you were back then isn't what you are now, but you knew that at that moment you needed to take certain steps and you took them. And you had the courage because when you're brought up in a very strict environment and culture, um, it's very hard to step away and be that what people call black sheep of the family because you're like out there and everybody's looking at you. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not what you're supposed to be, married with kids and
Yeah, yeah.
and cooking and doing dishes and cleaning and all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, that's not exactly what I was here for. What I'm here for. I feel it's completely different. So I'm I'm honored to know somebody who took the steps, who broke away from that, and
But
not
it is
only,
a process, yeah.
yeah, you healed
You know,
yourself and you healed your ancestors also.
mhm,
By
yeah.
doing that.
And I see this trend in sort of like a spiritual way of people that, they quit the corporate world and then started doing this so-called spiritual things, and they think they're spiritual and kind of skipping this process of the middle thing.
Right.
And I really encourage people to, not to skip that,
Yeah,
you know.
you need to go in and heal. Like,
Hmm.
I was a paralegal because I wanted to be an attorney, but
Wow.
I, yes, it's crazy from there to here. But I had to go through my darkness.
Hmm.
I had, even though I started studying Reiki back in the early 80s,
Wow.
excuse me, when somebody from Japan would come once a year to New York.
Wow.
And I was on my way with friends to a different class
Hmm.
in New York, and I saw this little tiny sign, tiny, tiny little sign that said Reiki class here today. And I'm like, hmm, what is that? And then I saw a lot of writing that I could, it was Japanese. I couldn't understand under that.
Hmm.
But I was like, it's pulling me. It's really pulling me. And I don't think I've ever cried as much as I did that day.
Wow.
When I got that attunement and they gave me that energy and I connected, truly connected in a different way, remember who I was and who I was meant to be. I was that, oh my goodness, this is a story I've never told anybody. I was actually in tears,
Wow.
but it was healing. And I knew that I finally found what direction I needed to go.
Mm.
Still had to do the paralegal stuff because I still had to feed my kids,
Yeah,
still had to do that.
that
But
is it.
once I got through all that, then I knew what direction I needed to go to.
Hmm.
And I knew that I came for a reason.
Hmm.
And I knew what I cut I cut some souls to. I told them I'm going next, I'm going next, and I just cut the line and came back in too fast.
Hmm.
But I needed to come for my children.
Yeah.
And I knew that. And I knew that before. And even in my early channeling sessions, I would write and it would all come out the same
Hmm.
way.
Hmm.
Every single time. I would close my eyes, right? And it would be like right there. And I'm like, okay, it cannot be me just thinking this is it. It's if I close my eyes and the exact same thing comes along, 10 times, all
Mhm.
right, you got to start believing it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
And I think that came just by like step by step too, because
right,
being mother and having children, that's so divine. I mean, being in the structural, the society, it's
right,
really tough. But some people say like, I'm just a mother, I'm not spiritual. Like, what are you talking about?
right, right.
And there's this like
You're
separation.
brought to life.
Exactly.
Right, yes, out of nothing comes life.
Mhm.
It's that's divine.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, so we can't really put every human thing that we do as not divine or spiritual.
right,
It's like washing dishes is spiritual, taking shower is spiritual. You can go really deep with it, you know,
yes,
and so really merging that aspect,
right,
and the spiritual calling, of course, but
hmm,
everything is really spiritual calling.
yeah.
And,
Especially in these times right now.
mhm.
These times are
It's
meant for
merging the
us to,
spirit and the
right?
human, you
Yes,
know. hmm
yes,
And we
exactly.
can't neglect this body, human body, at
Uh,
all. And that was the early stage that I saw. If I can share a little bit of the story, when I just
yes,
went to Mount Shasta,
uh-huh.
for some reason I was guided to work for these people. I don't know why. And those are the healers, the teachers,
Right,
channelers. And I went to their home or clean their garden, clean their or office.
right,
And when I really talked to them, they were not happy. I mean, those are the first wave people, so I think
right.
it's a tough.
Yeah, they had to be tough to
Yeah.
get through, right?
And so I can feel for them, but their humanness and the spiritual work was not really merged yet
Right, right,
so much. The one that I was guided to, and
right,
probably
right.
that was my mirror that I really needed to look at myself as well. But I, in my naive perspective, I was like, wow, they channel, but how come they're not happy? Like, why they talk about love, and how come their heart feels tight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk
Mm-hmm.
about so spiritual divine. How come this living room has never been vacuumed for like several months? It's really like that, just like a genuine curiosity. Why are these people are so amazing teachers and
Mm-hmm.
channelers and not really in this body, and really 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 understanding even now that how much I'm still not in my body sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There's so,
Mm-hmm.
so much mystery, like and so much mystery about my emotions, still hidden emotions comes up, and how much I have been ignoring that part of me, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're getting better and better at it, because
Yes.
we really have to be really in our body, you know
We have to be ready for the full reveal.
yeah, full reveal and full embodiment.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
hmm
Exactly. I love it.
so
I love
yeah.
it. And I'm glad that you brought in that, some of them uh, are not really happy with what they do and stuff like that. I see somebody take a step forward and I am like, I light up. It's like like a kid in the candy store. Oh my God, and that to me brings the joy to take me that energy to take me to the next step.
hmm
It isn't about acknowledgement or it's me doing it because I don't call myself a healer,
hmm
even though that's the word they use. I hate that word
hmm
because I'm just borrowing the gifts. I'm just using I'm just letting them use my vessel, this
hmm
body
yeah.
as the conduit, not
hmm
as a heal. I can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna heal you. Okay, boom, boom.
hmm
That's not what I'm here for.
hmm yeah.
And so, but I understand that you have to have labels for human
Yep.
beings.
Labels, 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 and
Yes,
try to become that labels. That's happening in the spiritual community as well. Like, I'm gonna
yes,
be a sound healer. Like, I like music, so I just play and then just happen to heal others. But that
right.
doesn't like I'm a sound healer.
No,
But some people say do you have a certificate? Like what?
I I learned piano
Mm-hmm.
from when I was young, and I used to play in concerts in New York and stuff like that.
Wow.
And I didn't think of it as all that big. I was just like, I was bringing the music to help people,
Mm.
and that's all I thought. And when people say, "Oh, do you have a certificate to play those crystal balls?" No, I don't need a certificate. I just need spirit to come through me and tell me where to go or how to make that sound. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, making this conversation into the point is that we're just who we are.
Right,
We express in a way that we feel naturally to
right,
express in
exactly.
whatever form and shapes, and
Mhm.
we don't need to identify ourselves. We don't need to make it into your business, whatever, It's put the old structure into the spirituality.
Right,
And, I mean, we are in the process of moving forward, but,
right.
it comes down to it. Like, just be yourself and do
Yes.
what you love to do, what you're good at,
And
find your
and
gift and really
and
what you're
what you're
passionate.
good at and you're passionate about will bring you the abundance that you need to take care of everything.
Right. Because we
That's
are in that abundance
right.
within and without.
Exactly.
So it doesn't
Exactly.
need to be spiritual.
But we have to have labels, right?
Yeah. It's
Human brain
right.
has to have
Yeah.
labels.
hmm
So, well, thank you. This was great. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience that you haven't mentioned? Um,
Oh, well. No, I spoke a lot, but yeah, if you come to Mount Shasta, stop by my gallery. And also, I want to say, one thing about visiting sacred site is not really about taking good energy. It's
mhm,
really about giving and receiving.
mhm,
And I can see some different things happening in the Mount Shasta, and just come to give too.
right.
We are the gift, so we can recognize our gift and share it to the mountain. You know
Mm, beautiful.
that's same to people as well. Like, thank you for receiving me, and I
Mm,
received you, and it was fun time. Mostly you were listening to me, and I'm just so grateful.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So you were meant to share all your experiences and your story, and I am sure that that in itself is going to heal so many.
I hope
So
so. Yeah.
I honor you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. I honor
Yeah,
you,
nice thing.
and thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
And to the audience, thank you for being here. As always, have a great week, and I love you. Bye.